Shalom, Rasa.
Shalom, Dad.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. Are you ready to know everything?
Yes! I am ready to stand at the peak of Mount Readiness and laugh in the face of the ready clouds. We should get going. I can do this all day.
Today, I want to teach you some names. Do you know what a denizen is?
No. What in the world is a denizen?
A denizen is the word for someone who lives in a certain place. You and I are denizens of Montana, for example. The President of the United States is a denizen of Washington, D.C. Queen Elizabeth is a denizen of England. Cleopatra was a denizen of Egypt. Get it?
Yup, sure do.
Now, all the people who live in a place have a name related to that place. What do we call people from Montana, for example?
Montanians?
No, just Montanans.
Montanans. I know it's Montanans, but I can never pronounce it. I'm like Montanians, Montanazins, whatever. But yes, Montanans.
And you're right, not every denizen label is obvious or easy to pronounce. For example, we live in the city of Missoula, but we're not Missoulans.
We're Missoulians.
That's right. That's our denizen label. In the same way, when I lived in Illinois, I was an Illinoisan. And when Mom lived in Mississippi, she was a Mississippian. But there are lots of different denizen label patterns.
An Illinoisan sounds kind of like someone who's being very annoying.
Can you guess the word for denizens of Maine?
Manians?
Good guess. Maniac would also be a good guess. But no, the answer is Mainers. How about Wyoming?
Wyomingans? Wyomingers?
Wyomingites. People who live in the city of Troy are called
Trojans.
That's right. Now, people who live in the city of Cambridge are Cantabrigians.
I cannot say that. Cantabrigians.
Very good.
Yay!
Now, Italy has some great ones. If you're from Florence, Italy, you're Florentine. If you're from Venice, you're Venetian. And if you're from Naples, you're Neapolitan.
Fancy.
Countries have the same variation too. People from Afghanistan are Afghans. People from Portugal are Portuguese. People from Wales are Welsh.
Welsh. Sounds so elegant.
Learn the denizen labels so you can address the people from those places correctly. And remember, the craziest, wildest, most far-fetched denizen labels may be the most familiar. For example, what do you call people from the United States?
Americans?
It doesn't even have United or States in it, but yes.
That's true. To be fair, United States of America.
Fair enough. What would you call people who are from Rasa?
Rossanians.
I look forward to traveling to that place someday.
Yes, and meeting all the Rossanians.
Are you ready for today's poem?
Yeah, what is it?
It's called My Muse by Stevie Smith. Do you know what a muse is?
Yes, it's an idol. Someone that's kind of person that you look up to.
Close. A muse is someone you get inspiration from. So it could be a flower, it could be a piece of art, it could be music, it could be another person. Whatever draws you to write or create or make art in some way, that's your muse.
Yep.
My Muse by Stevie Smith. My muse sits forlorn. She wishes she had not been born. She sits in the cold. No word, she says, is ever told. Why does my muse only speak when she is unhappy? She does not. I only listen when I am unhappy. When I am happy, I live and despise writing. For my muse, this cannot be but dispiriting.
You
read it.
My muse. My muse sits forlorn. She wishes she had not been born. She sits in the cold. No word she says is ever told. Why does my muse only speak when she is unhappy? She does not. I only listen when I am unhappy. For when I am happy, I live, and I despise writing. For my muse, this cannot be but dispiriting.
What does Stevie Smith, this poet, what does she say about her muse?
She says her muse only talks when she is unhappy. But that is not true. The author, Stevie Smith, she only listens when she is unhappy.
I've noticed this in my own life. When I keep a diary, it's usually when I'm frustrated, when I have feelings that I need to express and process. But when I'm carefree, when I'm happy, I don't need to. I'm not venting. Everything's fine. So I don't have to write them down. I can just live my life. And there's a sort of irony there. The art that you hear from me, if you were reading my diary, would just be dark and angry and depressing. But my life isn't necessarily dark and angry and depressing. And I guess she's saying that of all artists, right? Or at least herself. You might read her poetry and think, this writer, boy, she's mysterious, or she's dark, or she's funny or silly. But her personality probably has all those things in it. It's just only at certain times and certain ways that she listens to her muse, her inspiration.
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
What do you take as one of your muses?
You are one of my muses.
Oh, you're one of my muses, too.
Thank you.
Last segment of the show. Do you have a vexing question for me?
Yes. Why do we have muscles? I mean, I know that we do need muscles to live. That is true, because otherwise we couldn't stand up. But you don't exactly need big muscles in your arms like movie stars have when they lift cars in movies. I don't think lifting cars is essential.
I'll check it out. What are muscles good for? What are muscles bad for? And I'll also try to see if there's any creatures that don't have muscles at all.
Sounds good.
I'm back and I've got your answer. Muscles are used for a lot more than standing up, walking around, and lifting cars. We also need them to move anything, like contracting our heart so it beats, or moving food through our body so we can digest it, or shifting our eyes to see, or even toss and turn as we dream. Some of our muscles are under our control, but most are involuntary. They work automatically, which is probably a good thing, right? You don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
There are a few animal groups that don't have muscles. One example is sea sponges. Water flows constantly through their body, bringing in food and oxygen and removing waste. But they still can move using a different type of cell than regular animal muscle cells. Some scientists think our muscles evolved from this other kind. So, next time you see a superhero lifting cars, imagine that's just a sea sponge flexing with a few billion years of evolution on its side.
Super sea sponge. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-da-da-da.
You Must Know Everything is produced by me, Jeremy Smith, and her, Rasa Smith, with awesome music by Furniture. Please rate, review, and share the show with friends. Please join us next time for everything you need to know.